I recently went on a trip and we went on down to Virginia City in Nevada. My family is meeting up there and they wanted me to go with them and check out this really cool mining town. And I tell you what, the trip was worth it all the way around. However, aside from checking everything out at Virginia City, the mines, the train rides, the haunted houses, and all those good things, I wanted to give the Onyx app a try out of state. I've used it a bit at home, but this was the first time I've been able to use it outside of my local area, which I know most of those trails. So I looked up this trail, 4 out of 10, and it said 31-inch tires would be sufficient for it, and I more exceed that. So I grabbed my brother and I took him with me to go out and explore this trail. The other thing is that this area in Nevada, there's a lot of Mustangs, and you can see their paths up and down along on the side roads, and obviously the manure piles and stud piles everywhere. And I was really hoping that we can go out and get the drone out and find some of these wild horses for my brother to see, because he's never seen horses in the wild. So we kind of cruised along this trail. It's really an easy trail. We didn't even really use four-wheel drive. We didn't worry about disconnecting the sway bar, and I didn't even touch the switches for the lockers. It was just a super easy trail. Mostly just some dirt roads with rocks. I mean, you need to pay attention to what you're doing on it, because I mean, you aren't on the paved road after all. But definitely a 31-inch tire would be more than enough tire to get through all this stuff. And we just kind of cruised through the desert looking for the Mustangs, and enjoyed exploring, and enjoyed the fact that we had Onyx to kind of help us out and make sure that we were where we're supposed to be, and all those other good things. There were a couple where you can, like, sort of flex your rig out a little bit, so if you don't have a lot of articulation, it's probably going to be a little bit more difficult. Like I said, I didn't even disconnect the sway bars or use the lockers. Half the time it was in two-wheel drive. So we explored all the way down to the lake that's at the end of this trail, and we didn't get to explore a lake very much because we had to get back to do an evening event with the family. But all in all, we rolled through, keeping our eyes peeled for wildlife, for Mustangs in particular, and it was just a beautiful area. You might see some mines up on the hillsides here and there. I don't recommend going off the trail and checking them out or anything. It's just, it just might be a little bit too risky. So there's a little bit of, some steep hills and a little bit of articulation stuff here. This spot here, we just, put it in first gear low range and just let the Jeep do the work, because, well, we didn't really need to do anything else. We're just out here enjoying. It wasn't super technical. It was just more or less scenic. That trail took us probably about 2 hours to go down, all the way down, and get to the end of it and check out the lake. And then we had to turn around, come back. And since we kind of knew the trail and we didn't have the sun in our eyes, it was a lot quicker coming back. I think we shaved like 20 minutes off. So if you have a four-wheel drive, have Onyx, and you ever are in Virginia City, there's a few trails right nearby. Now, I was looking around and I noticed that there's a pretty significant trail, and it goes right along the route of the Pony Express. And if I remember right, that particular trail was like 478 miles, and that's a trip that I want on the bucket list to do, and I'm going to probably be doing it sooner rather than later. Will I be taking Brio, my Wrangler, or will I be taking my Suburban? I don't know yet. The Wrangler is ready to go. All I gotta do is throw my camping gear in, and we got some work we gotta do on the Suburban before we can take it. But, you know, we'll see. One or the other, I need to go on that trail, and hopefully I'll get my brother and my nephew and maybe a friend or two to go along, because 478 miles that's quite a trail, and in looking at it, it looks like it goes on the paved roads too, off and on. But I think that'd be a real fun adventure to go on, regardless of what rig that I take with me. So, hope this was at least a little bit of a scenic video for you guys, and if you're thinking about going to Virginia City or going in the Reno area of Nevada, you know, I think it's definitely worth the time and energy to go there. It was beautiful every day, nice, dry, clean air. Up here in Washington, it's kind of wet.